Hi, my name is Lindsay Baker, and this video is a demonstration of how the simple knit stitch, the slip stitch, the tog two stitches together, and the SSK stitches can be studied as Reidemeister moves in knot theory. I will be conducting this video as if nobody knows anything about knitting or knot theory, so let's get started. I have knitted about 7 rows of simple knit stitch right here for my demonstration. I'm knitting continental style, though English, continental, it doesn't matter. Before we begin, let's review what the Reidemeister moves are. So it's going to be a twist, a poke, or a slide. For my demonstration, the stitches only fall into these 2 moves, the twist and the poke. But yeah, there's our little review. Let's begin. So this is called my working needle, and this needle with all the stitches is called my holding needle. This yarn is my working yarn. To knit, we are going to slide our working needle up into the stitch, and then we'll wrap the working needle around the working thread around the working needle, pull it through the stitch, and then slide that stitch off the holding needle. It's a little bit faster. Let's do it one more time. We through the stitch, wrap the yarn around, pull it through, slide. This is a simple knit stitch. Now let's talk about how can be studied as a Reidemeister move. So I'm going to take this stitch off the holding needle. So see, when we pull the working yarn in front of the stitch like this, there is our first poke. So when I am pulling the yarn across, wrapping around the working yarn, there's my first poke. There's my first poke. Unfortunately, none of these Reidemeister moves have a pull through, so we're going to flip our perspective up and down instead of to the side, and then I'm going to do that same move again. I'm going to pull through. There's our second poke. So the simple knit stitch is just 2 pokes of the Reidemeister moves. All right, let's do one more time. First poke, second poke. The next stitch is the slip stitch. So let's go over what the slip stitch is. So here we'll start with our simple knit stitch, and a slip stitch actually has 2 different ways of doing it. A slip stitch can be a twist and a poke, or just a poke, depending on how you do it. So if I am knitting, if I slip the stitch knitwise, I get a twist. But I could slip my stitch purlwise with no twist. Let me show you. I'll do a couple of slip stitch knitwise, and then I will do 2 stitches purlwise. Perfect. Now let's see on the other side for just the poke. If you are trying, so here is our slip stitch knitwise. There's 2 right here. See, there is our poke. There's our poke. There's 1 loop. And then these are our slip stitches purlwise. If you flip it on the other side, you can see that that working thread is hidden where all the bumps are. Hidden. So that is just a simple explanation of if you're in your pattern and you are knitting and it says slip your stitch purlwise, it is to usually hide that working yarn. But I'm going to go ahead and knit because it's easier to see the twist. Here we're coming up with to one of the slip stitches purlwise. See how there was no twist? No twist. See, let's go right here. See that twist? No twist. So these are with the simple stitches. And a twist. Okay. So let's go back to those slip stitches. So here's one of them. See how it is twisted, and then the one next to it is not twisted. And the purl ones over here are also not twisted. So if you want the twist and you are knitting, slip it purlwise. If you don't want if you want the twist, do it the same way. Slip the stitch knitwise if you are knitting, and slip the stitch purlwise if you are purling, and the opposite if you do not want the twist. But yeah, so slip stitches are just a poke and a twist in Reidemeister moves. In the Reidemeister moves, there is no discussion that the strands of threads that we are working with have to be of the same dimension. So when we are knitting 2 stitches together, we are making 2 stitches, 1, and then just knitting them the same way a simple stitch. So there's our first poke. There is our second poke. It's the exact same demonstration, explanation as a simple knit stitch. Let's do this one more time. Here. Yeah. Knitting 2 stitches together. Alrighty. The next stitch that I'll be talking about is the SSK stitch, which is essentially a twist and 2 pokes. So we get our twist from sliding off our needle, like from the holding needle onto the working needle like this. And then we'll put them back on the holding needle and then knit the 2 together from the back. I'm going to do a knit 2 stitches together right next to it so we can really see that twist. I'll do it one more time. So I'm slipping 2 stitches off, putting it back onto the holding needle. There's where our twist happened. Then there's 1 poke, 2 pokes. And then this is a normal dog 2 stitches together. So here is our SSK stitches, pull it this direction, and our knit 2 stitches, pull it that direction. So that is how we do. That's the difference between an SSK and a knit 2 stitches together. That goes that way, and this one goes the other way. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something either from knot theory or from knitting today, and that you all have a wonderful day.